Hello, Philip. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you. No audio on your side. See, it looks like it's muted on your icon. Hello, Kelly.
Should be good now.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Always some kind of technical thing getting this thing kicked off.
Well, no, it's just that I have about 8 audio inputs on my computer because I have everything from the professional cam to the webcam to the headset to video capture cards to all sorts of things. And switching between them with WebRTC is not as straightforward as really it should be.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Something needs to be simplified there.
You think?
I think so.
Kelly's here. Kat is here. We already have a question in our chat that we're going to address.
Okay.
Want to make sure that we have that in there. We'll start here shortly. We're going to give time for people to come in. As you know, we usually give about 5 to 10 minutes after we start.
Yeah, absolutely.
My
Yeah.
little parrot sitting back there in the background. See? You probably can't see her because she's in the cage. But
I can't see her, but I have seen her before. We should feature her sometime. She could speak Spanish on our AMA.
oh, she would yell at people. My goodness.
That'd be funny.
Uh,
So, how was the Thanksgiving? Hope it went well. Hope everybody
long.
long. Okay.
Long, yes. But we had, family come out, but half of them got sick. So our plans to go to the link for dinner were canceled, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I know a few contacts out here in Vegas, and one of the local restaurants, which stopped doing their Thanksgiving box pre-orders, happened to have 3 extras. So they were able to get that out for us. So we had a good Thanksgiving dinner that was sent to us via one of the Brazilian restaurants here in Vegas. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah, it was actually pretty good food. A Brazilian take on turkey with mashed potatoes.
Wow. Sounds interesting. A Brazilian Thanksgiving. That's cool.
Hey, it was pretty good. Everybody seemed to like it and eat it. So I mean, either it was good or they were starving. I don't know.
Right. Either way, it worked out. It sounds like.
But how about you?
Yeah, absolutely went good. We actually did a non-traditional this year as well. So we had a Mexican Thanksgiving. Made
Oh,
tacos.
fun.
Made tacos. Everybody loves tacos, so we just had small gathering, and it was really nice.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So we've got Janus here. We've got Javier is new. He's one of from our other projects that we talk about. Dennis is here. Simon is here. Black Knight. Don't know who the Black Knight is, but I'm definitely not going to get into a fight with that person. Let's see. Ken Smith is here. Madam is back. Yay!
Yeah, madam, welcome back.
We love the fact that Madam is back. I hope she's feeling well. I know she was struggling a little bit, but hopefully that goes well. The Shmoo is here. Gotta love the Shmoo.
Shmoo. Shmoo.
I'm literally going to do an NFT with just the Shmoo and our SoMee logo because literally, could you imagine the beautiful Shmoo with a SoMee logo on his belly? I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think that's like an NFT that we have to do.
Bijo is here, and of course Jayton is here, which is good. So we've got quite a few people here. We didn't have a lot of people registered this time around because obviously it's during the holiday season. So It was either a toss-up of canceling today's AMA because there wasn't a lot of people registered, or going through with it. So what we're gonna do is we'll go through with the AMA today, and then we're gonna reschedule the AMA for December, probably till, like, December 30th. And only because, 1, Christmas is on December 25th, and that would be when the AMA is, and I don't wanna take employees away from their families, and I don't wanna take our partners away from their families just to attend an AMA. So, we'll end up rescheduling those. But I think we're probably good to start. You wanna start?
Yeah, let's start.
Awesome. So this AMA is a little bit different, guys. It's a little bit more informational than some of the other AMAs that we went through. We do have development slides as well as marketing slides to get through. And Bijo is here so he can talk about some of the marketing efforts as well. Just so you guys know, we've got like 9 slides of marketing content, probably the most we've ever had. Um, so yeah, we've got a lot to answer for you guys here. Let's go to the first slide here, and we're going to talk about the development SWOT. As you guys know, I have been trying to include some SWOT analyses inside of our AMA so you guys can understand what our decision process is. And one of the SWOT analyses came up, of course, with the Hive blockchain. And, Hive is a whole different beast when it comes to blockchain. It's a great blockchain. It's been around for a while. It's increasing in price, increasing in user base and user share. It's doing quite well. It's a very fast network, has many RPC nodes, and the organization needed decentralization for posting on the blockchain out of our control, and Hive was the perfect one for that. So those are its strengths. Of course, the weaknesses, as we're all aware of course, is the account sign-up process. You need to use Hive Keychain, Hive Wallet to be able to do things. So there are some frustrations that are involved with that simply because it is a decentralized application, and teaching people how to use a DApp, not exactly an easy prospect as we've seen. But we do have some opportunities to affect those weaknesses to make them a little bit better. One of them is Hive Signer, which we're implementing. Hive Signer, of course, allows you guys to simply log in just like you would with Hive Keychain, and that's it. You don't have to have anything else installed on your machine. You don't need a browser extension. You don't need the Keychain app. You don't need some magical little pearl of wisdom sitting somewhere that tells you what to do. It's just sign in and you're good. And then, of course, we have the paid and free account service that we're going to talk about as well. Some of the threats that we do have by implementing the Hive keychain, of course, is the Hive keychain is hard to use. While the project that did Hive keychain did a really good job mirroring the functionality of a wallet service like MetaMask, there are still some challenges with that. Secondly, having a piece of software that somebody has to rely on, other than just the main application, is difficult. So we want to make sure that whatever we do address and how we address that are going to be there. And of course, creating a free account can be difficult for people. So that's the basic SWOT analysis here. But going on that, we want to set proper expectations. One of the things and pushbacks that we've seen from the community since November 1st was that they said, this is not ready for mass adoption. Well, guys, I told you that in last month's AMA. Our implementation for blockchain for Hive this time around is specifically for existing users. It is not for new users. We had zero intention of making that mass adoptable from November 1st. It just could not be possible because of Hive Keychain. So I want to make sure that we set that expectation with everybody in the community that the current implementation is just to honor our promise to get blockchain operational so you guys can post to the blockchain. It allows us to iron out and work out any Hive bugs that we come across, which we did. We sent several bugs over to Reese and over at the Hive team, and they were able to adjust some of those and add them to the blockchain roadmap to get some of them fixed that were more long term. Exist some of the fisting posting issues that we have. I can't even talk today. Fix some of the existing posting issues that we have in the apps, because it's a new technology. There's going to be bugs. And then, of course, to generate our support documentation when using the Hive blockchain. That was the whole purpose of doing the implementation the way that we did. Again, it is not for mass adoption. So please understand that as a community. Phase 2 is about simplification. That's the phase that we're currently in. That's for existing and new users. That's when we implement Hive Signer to make the process so much easier for you guys. That's when you guys can start using the native apps on iOS and Android again for SoMee. That's when we do our education to teach people about, what is blockchain? How do I withdraw? How do I set up? What is all this stuff with those wizards that we set up? And then just making sure everybody understands the process. So that's what we had versus what we're going to implement. So we start with something difficult, which we did, and then we get the documentation and we create something simple out of it. Sometimes that's how development has to work. Anybody have any questions on that? I don't see any questions on that or comments. So
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
I crapped the whip on that, and Daddy Philip is no longer Daddy Philip. Let's move on. So, development phases. Social functions and blockchain functions are where we're currently focused at. In phase one, we enabled the blockchain features, and we're going to enable the wallet features as well as fix site bugs. That last one is very important because we know there's some annoying site bugs on there. And SSD has been a really great job of squashing some of these and then identifying after they squash the initial bug, they go, well, yeah, this doesn't work over here. So they squash another one. So they're really good at finding those nitpicky things that we see.
I
Phase
really, my hat's off to them for that because we've seen the bug fixes go really quickly into production and they're really working quickly. I'm really
I don't think you guys realize it, but since SSD came in, we probably did like 6 production pushes. I just didn't tell everybody about them.
yeah.
So as you guys have been using the apps, you actually see things change. Like now you have a monetize this button. Now the monetize this button looks correct on mobile. Now if you go to blockchain settings and your profile, you can change your Hive ID. All of that's there. It's just that I didn't announce that to the public because we're constantly squashing and publishing. And if I were to announce every time I do that, oh my God, you guys would never get anything done in the main chat. So we announced the major updates and we announced major bug fixes, but fix site bugs, that's a big one. Phase two is about simplification, as I talked about before, implementing Hive Signer, extending it to mobile devices, and fixing more site bugs. As we implement Hive Signer, we know we're going to come across more bugs. Obviously, it's a new technology that we're implementing. And of course, implementing ad share for phase three and beyond, secure chat, secure video, and more site features. I probably don't want to talk so much about secure chat and secure video because we haven't finalized our partner agreement that we talked about with our partner last week. I will, however, allude to the fact that if we implement it the way that we want, and it goes the way that we want, it'll be one of the most secure chats that they have out there. And that means you'll be able to use those chat functions and you'll be able to use that information anywhere in the world, regardless of whatever firewall is set up somewhere. So it's a huge low level type secure system that we're setting up with our partner just to be able to do the killer communications on that side. And to piggyback on that, we're also dealing with something very complicated that we're going to call asynchronous identity management. We're just going to leave it at that. And that makes it to where you guys can actually just use the site and all the encryption is end to end from you guys all the way out to the other end that you guys are talking to, whether it's the server, whether it's another user or whatever. So the secure side of the house, very exciting stuff that's going to be coming out over the next, what, 4 months, 5 months, somewhere around there. That way you guys can get some more features in there. On top of that, we do have our current development cycle. And our current development cycle is enabling our blockchain features, fixing site and blockchain bugs, and working on the wallet functions. And the SSD team, and I've got a timeline on the next slide I'm going to show you guys that SSD is working on. And then adding Hive and SoMee wallet functions, adding Hive Signer to wallet functions, Skrill and Chipotle review and plan, and Skrill and Chipotle implementation. Now, on number 7 and number 8 down there, it's important for you guys to realize that Skrill and Chipotle constantly do compliance and verification checks. And now that we've changed our plan from SoMe points to SME token, we also have to go back through compliance with Skrill and Chipotle. We still have plans on implementing them. That's still not been taken out of the roadmap. Don't keep asking that question every single week inside of the main Telegram chat. Not necessary. We still have every plan on implementing them, but how we implement them with Skrill and Chipotle will be up to Skrill and Chipotle. So those are still on the map. And then going about our actual timeline here. And in red, right up there at the top, if I could just point at my screen right there, it says development goals are goals, not hard dates. These are dates that our SST team gave us that they're aiming for and that we're structuring for and that we reconfirm literally twice a week with them. So our target goal for the wallet functions is the very first week of December to allow you guys to see your existing ERC wallet and some basic information about your wallets right now. Integration by the end of the first week, into the first 7 days as well, to be able to do some basic Hive and balances and things like that. Hive Signer will be 1210. That's what we're shooting for, to be able to give you guys access to that and simplify the onboarding process. 1217 for the Signer implementation for all of the wallet functions. That means, powering up, powering down, doing your withdrawals and transfers, looking at your token balances, and all of that detailed stuff that would exist between Hive Keychain right now will be on our wallet. So that's part of the 1210 to 1217 side. And target goal for third-party integrations and the rest of the site social functions is 1231. So our goal is very tight here, as you guys can see. And the reason it's so tight is because SSD is working on this in parallel. So they're doing wallet functions and they're doing Hive Signer and they're doing site fixes all in parallel within the dev team. So we're working on multiple fronts at the same time just to speed up and ramp production of this information. Chris, do you have any questions on this timeline? Well, you've seen it only a few times.
No questions. It looks pretty good. I mean, I think I've been obviously a lot of people have been asking me about the Hive Signer, and that's the one that I've been talking about quite a bit, which is on December 10th. And I think it lines us up now. We'll see how after December 10th and up to the 17th, shake out any bugs and basically get the flows going. But I think that's the exciting point where we get this kind of MVP, ready for release, and where as long as it's very simple from there on, then that could be a scalable, mass adoptionable, product.
Well, the great thing about Hive Signer, guys, is it allows you to log in with your Hive Keychain logins or just your Hive account logins. And it works just like you would log in with any other service. You just click a button and you log into that service and you click approve. And that gives SoMee access to the necessary functions that you need. So it's actually very simple. But Hive Signer itself to implement is not simple. Being able to implement something on that level with the Hive keychain takes time. We have to research the SDK, we have to implement the SDK, and then we have to add the front end functions to it. That's why there's 2 phases there for Hive Signer. So it's getting done, just takes a little bit of time. So we did have a question really quick in regards to the SAT token. They want us to update the SAT holders, as we mentioned in previous AMAs, that something is cooking up behind the scenes. Yes, something is cooking up behind the scenes in regards to the SAT token as well as the ad share marketplace. The development team is working on the recoding of the front end of the ad share marketplace to work with the new React Native that we have to make it look a lot more seamless and work a lot better within the platform. And then we're also working on some actual staking pools as well to allow you guys to earn more SAT. And those pools should be up, I think, within a few weeks we talked about before. So I don't really have any additional details on SAT from a development side, but Chris may have more that he wants to share.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the staking pools, we're excited that we're going to be releasing those in a couple weeks, and you'll be able to obviously earn more SAT through that, and you'll be able to stake, both of the SoMee and the SAT. So we're basically launched our own staking pools versus relying on a third party like we were before. And it's much simpler this time. So there's much more straightforward and people will be able to understand it and use it very easily. So that's exciting to be able to release that. And in addition to the staking, hey, Bijo, welcome.
Hey.
In addition to being able to launch that, we have really our goal of getting these site features for monetization complete, working on the SAT ad share marketplace in the background for recoding it and getting it ready so that we can start to scale the user base and then inject the SAT ad share marketplace model into the platform when it's scaling. So that's going to be exciting to launch that. So that's kind of our order of operations, so to speak, to get that underway. And we really want to be scaling the monetization side first, and then inject the ad share into the system. And we've been preparing behind the scenes with Mr. Alan Kay, who's a legendary advertiser, and he's connected to tons of brands out there. So we were just talking this last week with Mr. K. It was his birthday, and also on Thanksgiving. So he's really excited, and he's preparing things along with obviously our CMO Bijo, and with C Squared Social. So we kind of have this multifaceted approach that we're approaching. So it's going to be pretty exciting once we actually get that finally launched and into production, because obviously the advertisers will be having a utility usage for SAT, and the influencers will also want to have SAT to participate in some of these big campaigns that the advertisers are releasing onto the platform. So that's coming, all coming. I think our goal is that first quarter.
Wait, I have a slide for that.
We have a slide for that, of course. That leads us right into our probably our next slide.
So actually, a perfect segue into the next part of the slide system, which is marketing. And I have Bijo here who can help explain some of the concepts as well. And one of the things that we did to break down this section is talking about the concepts we're following, as well as our awareness plans and our goals and things like that, how we're going to achieve those and signups and all that good stuff, because those are all questions you guys have been asking for 6 months. And so I wanted to make sure that we had those. And the vast majority of all of this content came from our communications with Bijo, C Squared Social, our brand review audit, and all sorts of other things that have been flowing around in the marketing channel. I just distilled that all into 9 slides. Poor me. But here we go with our main marketing concepts. Now, it's important to look at some of these concepts as things that are passive concepts and active concepts. So we have privacy, control, choice, and free speech as the active concepts. These are very important things for marketing because we need to get people to be aware of what social media is what it is for, as well as the importance of how SoMee solves those. And then we have earnings and the blockchain technology to help solve those concepts as well. But those are more passive concepts that we talk about. We target those, but we don't actively target everybody within that space. We want to make sure that marketing is focused as a more holistic approach, right, Bijo?
Exactly. I mean, it's important to basically spread the idea what our way of social media means in general, and then that the blockchain and earnings is basically a bonus option, but what gives people back also that idea of, hey, I don't need like a lot of following, whatever, to earn. I'm like I have the same opportunities like everyone else to earn on the side. But the most important is to basically give out the awareness of, on this platform, your free speech, you're back in control, it's your privacy, and all those good things.
With that said, we go over here to actually getting to the target. We have to make sure that we identify what our target's going to be, whether it is a social media user, whether it's an influencer, whether it's a blockchain user, whether it's Mickey Mouse sitting on the corner that wants a better Twitter, whatever our target's going to be. And to identify that, we have to know the categories that we're going to target. And so privacy, control, security, choice, and earnings are the primary targets that we have. The primary categories that we have. And then we work at doing those categories and distilling them down to actionable points. So for privacy, we talk about the user's voice. For control, we talk about sharing and hiding of content. Security is a safe and secure platform. Choice is public and private for their profiles and posts. And earning is being able to post daily. How we get from the category down to the target is very important, because from a marketing perspective, as Bijo knows, you can't just say, hey, look, I want to do this. We need to know how we do this, because it's not a matter of going on there and saying, hey, look, I want to target every social media person out there. That's not true. You can't just target everybody who uses social media. Targeting on social media can't be done that way, because otherwise you're targeting what? 3.7 billion people in the world? That doesn't get your message out there at all. You have to be able to distill those actionable categories down to targets that make sense. All right. And then, of course, meeting our new goals for users. And we have various strategies that we'll be implementing here. I don't know, Bijo, if you want to talk about this slide.
Yeah, I mean, we have our strategy, so target advertising, we have partnership advertising with business to business links, influencer advertising, and how to implement. We got C-Square social management, so we work with C-Square already, so they create a bunch of stuff with us, brainstorm with us when it comes to campaigns and all those things, because they have a lot of experience in that field. Work with partners to advertise pre-approved content, work with business sector partners who use and extending SoMee, work with influencer network for daily posts and migration. What also is very important, because we for sure need to put the word out there in an easier way, influencers. And that's why we also have influencers in every field, like it's the crypto field, the regular field, the movie world, the music world, like basically every field we can find influencers in to spread the word about SoMee. So that's something we work on. The daily posts and content creation, work with partners for video content and creation, film industry, what I just said, gaming industry, sports industry, and general business talks, because we want all those industries also on SoMee. Because the good thing about SoMee is we allow every industry on SoMee. We give every industry on SoMee a voice, and that is something we're going to focus on. And then content creation, video testimonials, video spots, and audio daily.
I think something really, and I want to add that what Bijo has done with the strategy on like social media for like on the first category with the daily posts and content, you know, kind of broken it up into something consistent each week for the daily kind of. You want to talk about that, Bijo?
Yes. So the reason why we changed it on Twitter is Twitter was amazing the way it was. I just approach it different. I approach it in a way to make it basically interesting for everybody, because it was a lot of the focus was a lot crypto, what made sense because we focus a lot on crypto in the beginning. But now that we are almost ready for mass adoption, we can't just talk to crypto people. We have to talk to everybody, and that's why I make our socials look like more approachable for everybody with different topics. So we have the Monday, for example, talk about motivational stuff. What is important, because there are a lot of people in the sports industry, in the motivational industry, we can target when it comes to motivational stuff. So that is our Mondays. We have Tuesday featured, because we also always want to give our community the feeling of you guys are special because you are SoMee. So we feature you guys. We created that SoMee featured group on SoMee where you can post, and we want you guys to basically feature on our socials to show the world how great our community is. Then we got Wednesday and Thursdays more for the crypto side of it and more for the SoMee side of it. So Wednesdays is we talk about it's called SoMee What. So we talk about in general basically knowledge about everything, like questions and stuff. And on Thursdays we talk about how SoMee works. So we talk about specific specific functions on SoMee. So that's our Thursday. Friday we always come up with news for you, because we have our dev meeting on Fridays. So Fridays are there for updates in general. And Saturdays we go back to what we already had before. We go back to some gaming challenges, quiz, puzzles, and all those fun things. I mean, it's weekend, so it's there for fun, but it also combines like basically, or makes it ready for mass adoption, because gaming challenges is basically there for everyone. And Saturdays is our basically holiday. It's a SoMee day, the SoMee Sunday. So we focus on Sundays, just on basically everything. But the strategy here is, and that is for sure a new strategy, and it's maybe irritating for a lot of people who were following us on Twitter before, in ways of they're not used to it. They're used to crypto only. But we have to basically re-teach everybody, okay, we are not crypto only. We are social media, and we're there for everybody. And that's why it takes time. But over time, we get everybody on board and make everybody used to the strategy.
I think it's a great strategy and a great pivot to kind of prepare for this next phase of just average everyday user coming into SoMee versus just our crypto community. So I think I applaud that, and I'm excited to see it all roll out.
Yeah.
Right. And so then we talk about marketing in regards to what is very important here. And piggybacking back on what Bijo said is right now we're getting ready for mass adoption. So our social functions are getting mostly done. Our monetization is getting simpler as we implement Hive Signer. So now we have to talk about brand awareness. And so it's not just awareness within the blockchain space. That's very important. We want blockchain users, but we need awareness in all other spaces as well that makes sense for this type of project. And so we drive our brand awareness campaigns in very specific ways, such as increasing awareness, increasing user consideration, what the user's intents are going to be, and then getting the users to make the decision to actually use SoMee. And so for our awareness campaigns, we ask various questions. Who and what are SoMee? What are the current pitfalls of social media that we have out there? And what is blockchain, and how do we offer education on blockchain? That increases our brand awareness. And then our consideration is SoMee Social as for privacy and control and for monetization. How does SoMee solve that? What is data mining, and what are the fears that people have in regards to social media? Why is that important, and how does SoMee fit into that? What is blockchain, and why blockchain? Why do we need to consider that as users moving forward into a decentralized world? And what is decentralization? All of these are key topics and concepts that people need to understand so they can adapt to that. And then we talk about user intent, focusing users on the intent of free speech online with equal access, the ability to earn, with the choices for them to earn, as well as that earning is not the primary focus of the platform. It's just a great benefit for this feature for that platform. And then getting the user to make those decisions and nurturing those decisions long term through focused education, through increased education in regards to, what is blockchain, how does it work, what is decentralization when we go through the checkout wizards and stuff like that. So it's all about raising awareness in the marketing campaign and then moving forward with that. Whew. And now we talk about Chris's favorite subject, which is opportunities.
Love opportunities.
So we have many user opportunities for interaction as well as sales on the platform. And it's also very important that we understand that when we talk about brand awareness, opportunities are also very important. NFT packs, custom NFTs, stickers and avatars, being able to boost your posts to the top of friends' timelines, and power-up packs are all the current opportunities that we're currently looking at. And these are various utilities that we can add based on the tokens that we have in question. NFT packs using US dollars or USDT to SOMA, custom packs using SME and Matic, SoMee and ETH, stickers using SME, hey, there's a utility, posts using SME, there's another utility, power-up packs using Hive, ETH, and SME, and that's another utility. So for us, it's all about making sure that users have the opportunity to not only earn their crypto, but spend their crypto as well. It helps increase and decrease the buying and selling pressure across the chain. It's better for the economy overall, and it gives better access and utility for people to do these things. Any questions on the opportunities that we have here?
Looks good. What about the NFT packs? Do we know when we have that available on the NFT side?
I don't have a timeline for that yet. My problem is still looking for a compliant and regulatory allowed way to go from US dollars or USDT to an actual ERC utility token. As you guys are aware, there's a lot of regulatory issues with that. One of the primary things is that if you do something from an actual currency to a utility fiat currency, you run into these situations where there's a big old gray area with the SEC. And the SEC goes, well, you're not a utility token anymore. You're now a security token, and you have to file XYZ form, report this, do this, and blah, 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 blah. So we have to do this in a very compliant way. And we do have a few partners that are willing to work with us on it. But that NFT pack side there is a future opportunity, not one that we currently have available, though it is one that we are working on. And these are not all inclusive, by the way. There's other opportunities here. I just wanted to point out the top 5. And then adoption. After we talk about brand awareness, after we talk about our influencer campaigns, after we talk about, how are we going to increase people's want and desire to use SoMee, we talk about adoption. And adoption is getting people to actually use it and retain the use, which is probably the hardest thing for people to understand. A lot of people talk about, let me go ahead and get people to use the platform, market out to them, and they get them to sign up, and that's where they stop. If you stop after a person signs up, you don't have retention. And retention is just as important as adoption. So for us, when it comes to marketing and for us as a platform, adoption includes retention. And so we have targeted advertising, general advertising, social linking, and ease of access as the primary ways to accelerate that adoption process. Target advertising, just like it was with our brand awareness, is C-squared social management. They're out there managing our social networks, making sure that we're getting our targets correct. We're doing daily posts, content creation, focusing on privacy and security, just further enhancing people and reinforcing SoMe's ideal. General advertising, which is target on social woes and fears to understand that SoMe solves these problems for people, and targeting to the general age that we have in the market with most interest in many social topics. People that have these fears, that have these concerns of privacy, whether you're a digital activist, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a group owner, whether you're just mom sitting on the couch and going, why is IBM listening to everything I say? We want to help target those people to get them to understand that there's a better way. Social linking, being able to leverage existing social networks to spread SoMe's word and movement. It is a time-limited factor for us. As you know, we are a direct competitor to social networks. And so as we start doing that, we have like a time clock over our head. Eventually it will go, no, you're not allowed to say that. But Twitter and Facebook, when we're big enough, Instagram for secondary markets such as Signal, Telegram, and Discord advertising and stuff like that.
And I would also
And
love to add something just for the time with the Twitter and Facebook thing. It's also very important to know for everyone. As Philip said, we're not a, I mean, we are basically competitive, but we don't want to compete
exactly.
online. That is very important to us. And that's also why we came with the strategy of having those different days, because we don't want to compete. We just want to use it and make people aware. And if they decide to jump over, amazing.
And if
I'd
not,
also
well,
like to add that something I haven't seen on our kind of marketing, goals or strategies is just adding on our different web properties the ability for people to sign up to get our newsletter, because I think that we really need to jump into our email list, building the lists, and being able to, because as we deploy all these on social media, we should also always have a monthly newsletter that has those educational pieces and the recap of what we did the previous month to our subscribers. And up to this point, we really haven't been leveraging that. And I think that's an important strategy that we need to implement as well.
that is on the plan, but not these slides.
Yeah.
That is part of the education side. We are going to be education from, making sure that we have people when they sign up and they opt in for the information, they can look at the information in their emails. They can look at it as part of the email campaign that we do, the email newsletter that we send out every month. There'll be an education center for them to follow as well, so they can learn more. All of that is part of the education side that we're building into the platform. And then, of course, ease of access, which goes directly to what you just said, Chris, making sure that we're targeting mobile usage, progressive web app markets to understand that, you do have other options available for your social network, advertising with and without monetization, and social media choice and access, which is all about education as well. And then going on to that, we have to consider, what is our structure? Where do we market? When do we market? How do we market in various different sectors? So we have pre-sales and post-sales. Pre-sales being brand awareness, social media, blockchain solutions, and free speech and earnings, because these are going to be pre-adoption things that we have to get out there to people. Post-sales being after they sign up, social media fears, public-private feeds, earnings game, and blockchain education, which is what you just talked about, Chris. And making sure that we cover all of the key concepts and discuss with users as well. And these discussions can take the form of a very simple picture, or even a detailed blog article, or some sort of article in our knowledge base or in our help center, or sitting inside of a wizard when they click the withdrawal button. All of these concepts are things that we will address. Everything from SoMe to free speech to NFT packs, what is Hive, what is SME, how do the rewards work? All of these concepts are things that we address during these various stages. And these concepts are for both stages. So when we talk about free speech pre-sales, we'll make sure that we talk about it in a certain way to get people to understand what free speech is, why social media works. And when we talk about free speech in the post-sale size after a person signs up, it's how does SoMe continue to provide that to me? So we make sure that they understand those concepts fully while they're using the platform. And so education is very important with this entire marketing strategy, Chris.
I totally agree.
And then, of course, we have our marketing phases. Yay! timelines. Everybody loves timelines. So right now is awareness, Q4 2021. Who is SoMee? Why free speech, social media? As you guys know, right now, especially with the Facebook woes that we have out there, especially with the downtime that we had, especially with the news feeds that are blowing up with people's getting information stolen. Heck, GoDaddy just had a $1.2 million breach because they stored passwords in an unencrypted way in WordPress. Boy, they just got rid of everybody's information in one fell swoop. I mean, it's incredibly important for us to understand that free speech, security, and privacy is something that we have to focus on for brand awareness. Phase 2, reach and adoption for Q1 and 2 for 2022, data mining fears, influencers using SoMee, networks and brands that are using SoMee to get them to understand that SoMee can be a trusted platform. You as a user can trust it because these other people are using it. We want to make sure that reach and adoption is planned there. Phase 3, influencers and partners for Q1 to 3, 2022, influencer marketing videos, influencer migration to the platforms, influencers using the platform as the primary social platform, and social groups and usage as well. Those are very important. And then phase 4 for Q2 to 4, 2022, education and continuity. And education and continuity is very big, like I talked about before. It's not a matter of adoption. You also have to have that continued education. Social fears, blockchain tech, and decentralization being the big ones, so people can understand that it's not just a matter of having a social network that can address free speech, but decentralization, how it works, why you should adopt it in your personal life, why you should adopt it to other things in your life as well, are also great ways to get people to understand that. And then a roadmap. Basic roadmap here. We already talked about the vast majority of all this, and granted, some of these timeframes can change, and we do have them listed on there in the kind of the order that we're going to go with, simply because it's easier for us to create our marketing campaigns, work with our partners, work with our influencers, work with BJ, work with the private contacts that other people have that are within our marketing channel to make sure that they're fitting with all these timelines that we have here. And this entire roadmap will be visible on the roadmap section on our dev blog. I'm just going to take this slide. We're going to put it on the website like we did the other 2 slides so that you guys can see the roadmap for development and marketing as well. I don't think I need to recover all of this because we've already covered it in the last 3 slides, but there you go. Vijay, did you want to add anything about the marketing efforts that you guys are currently working on right now?
Not really, because I think it's important that we don't make too big of promises. I'm like the person, I want to show results instead of talking about them the entire time. I mean, for sure, what I can say is we work behind the scenes on like a lot of things, a lot of like influences, a lot of like strategy campaigns we want to come up with. But that is something you guys are gonna see when it happens.
I absolutely love it when Bijo does that. It's coming. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's coming. All right. So we have some Q&A time. It's currently 11:10, which is pretty much right on track. We always have the last 20 to 30 minutes from our AMA for general questions and answers from the community. You can ask us anything, me, Bijo, Chris, anybody else in the team, and we'll relay the message. Ask us in Telegram, ask us here, whatever you want to know. So I do know that we had a few questions that came in very beginning. One of them came from Janus. Let me go ahead and do this. A lot of people are concerned about the onboarding process. Can you elaborate on what process will be in the future, both for monetization and for not? Yes. And as I told you guys all the way back at the very beginning of the slides, in fact, I'm going to go all the way back to that slide here. Expectations are everything. The current process, creating a Hive account, downloading Hive Keychain, installing Hive Keychain, setting up Hive Keychain, signing into Hive Keychain, visiting the browser in Hive Keychain, logging in via Hive Keychain. All that process is just for existing users. That's not for new users. That's not mass adoption. We don't want that for mass adoption. The new process going forward is a lot more simple. When users wish to monetize, they'll still see that monetize button. The first time they click it, it's going to take them through a little wizard that pops up, and that little wizard goes, this is what you need to do for monetization. You're either going to click here to create a free account, and we'll walk you through those entire processes, or you can click here and we'll go ahead and set you up an account instantly. And then it walks them through the Hive Signer login. Okay, you've got your account. Go ahead and log in right here. Boom, logged in, and now monetization is enabled. What was that? 3 steps versus the 16 we have right now. So the process is much simpler once we have Hive Signer and those wizards in place. So that question that we had in regards to what would the process look like, that's more what the process is going to look like for us. Kelly asked a question. Sorry, I posted this in the correct area, Philip. If you do not post on blockchain and only on SoMee, do you still use resources and fuel? No. The only time you use resource credits, the only time you use voting power right now is when you're posting on the blockchain, because it's the blockchain. In order to talk to a blockchain, you have to spend something. And you had to do that with Steam. You had to do that with SoMe's internal chain. You have to do that with Ethereum, Polkadot, every single blockchain out there. In order to talk to the blockchain, there's a cost to that transaction. Now, that cost could be infinitesimally small, like 7/10 of 1 cent on the Polygon network, which made Chris happy because he was able to mint NFTs like that. Or it can be infinitely large, like on the Ethereum network, where Bijo wanted to try to mint an NFT and it was going to cost him $230. So there's always a cost associated with that. But when you're posting on the SoMee.social site without monetization, there's no cost. That's posting in a secure and encrypted way. Nobody has access to it that you haven't already shared out with access to it. And that information isn't sitting directly on the Hive blockchain. So there's no additional cost there. Jayton asked, so you guys will do marketing after third-party integration or between? As I said, we're even doing marketing now. So Bijo, you're probably more prone to ask on what your plans for marketing are. So if you want to answer that question.
I plans is, I mean, right now, we work a lot behind the scenes because we're not ready for mass adoption. That means we do a lot behind the scenes. We prepare a lot. We change the social media to basically also slowly prepare for mass adoption. But everything we can do right now is mostly behind the scenes, and everything we will do soon is basically preparing for mass adoption with C Square. We talk with all the time, anyways. So that's basically the way we do it right now.
Great. And then the cat asked, please talk about the SME token utilities on the platform. Well, that was part of the opportunities list that I showed up. There's plenty of built-in opportunity as well there. The utility also has the ability to buy and sell on the tribal decks. You guys can do liquidity pools on the tribal decks. We'll be doing LP rewards as well on the tribal decks. You'll be able to use your SME tokens to boost your posts, use your SME tokens to do all sorts of things on the platform. It's just all of those do take time to actually build in, and some of those have a significant cost for the company. Setting up a liquidity pool, just one liquidity pool for the company is $1,000, and making sure that we can fund that liquidity pool is any number of dollars that we put into the pool. Setting up the liquidity rewards as well also comes as a $500 cost. So we have to make sure that we as a company are leveraging those utility generating features in a way that makes sense for the project, both fiscally and responsibility, and makes sense for the community so that we can get them out in time for you guys to use them. But SME is the primary reward token. So when you guys are posting on Hive and you get your Hive rewards, you get your SME rewards too. You can post and power up your SME rewards. And as you vote and comment on the blockchain, you get more SME for that. You can use your SME for some of the opportunities we already discussed, as well as use your SME further on the tribal decks if you want to do some advanced things, swap to other tokens, use other communities or whatever. And I think the very important thing for people to realize is that as we use Hive as the first side chain that people are posting on, we're using the layer 2 solution for Hive Engine. That means whatever tokens you have sitting there within the Hive Engine DEX, you can swap to. And other communities are able to see those public posts. So Bijo, you had that question when you first did your first post. You got maybe 20 likes from SoMee, but you had like 50 likes overall. And you're like, where did all these likes come from? Well, that's because as you post on a public blockchain, it's public information. So other communities like Leo Finance, any of the other Splinterland groups, or any of the other people that are using Hive.blog can see those posts as well. And the whole community as a general on Hive sees what the post is that you're posting publicly. So you earn a lot more with a higher reach. And then you receive those Hive rewards and you get SME backed on top of that. So utility for SME is a huge topic. It covers a lot of various things from blockchain as well as to the mundane, which is buying sticker packs and stuff like that, or custom avatars and filters that you can use for your videos. So there'll be a lot of things added. They just take time to add. Did Bijo refollow all of the 3,000 plus people I connected to over 4 years after he unfollowed everybody?
Next,
Bijo, you're the best person to talk about that.
I don't think we need to answer that. Let's go next.
Well, I'm just going to answer it in the way that, Twitter is the way it was. It was actually handled very well. We got compliments from C Squared Social in regards to Twitter, which is great. And we're continuing that same path moving forward. But it's very important for us to project a professional image when we're using Twitter and social media. And so what we did is we went in there and we cleaned up some of those extra accounts and some of the low follow qualities that we had in there just to make sure that Twitter was more clean. So we did the right thing. It just took time. We had another question. How about SME utility with staking unlocks a page's ability to unlock subscriber donations like Patreon, which unlocks BTC, ETH donations on the page? Extended liquidity pools, liquidity rewards, and minor rewards are possible with SME. But as I said previously, in order for us to set those up, those do come with a liquidity cost for the company. We have to make sure that when we're setting up these additional pools and additional rewards, that we're doing them in both a professional way, and that's fair for the company as well as fair for the community. Chris and I and our investors and our VCs, we can sit here and throw hundreds of thousands of dollars at SoMee, but what point would that make? That's zero benefit to you as the community. We have to make sure the investments are done in the right way so that we can fund the development, fund the pools, fund the new creations, and all that good stuff. So what we're talking about here in regarding to holding more SME or donating SME or mining SME unlocks rewards, that's going to happen, but it's not currently something that we have set up on the system. Black Knight, the guy I don't want to challenge in a fight because, Black Knight bases everybody in the medieval times, so I got to be careful with that guy, says, when mass adoption occurs and people buy SME packs, will the SME be minted for those packs or bought from the market bringing buy pressure? It'll be bought from the market bringing buy pressure. And we don't mint because it's a reward token. Those new tokens are automatically generated. So when those packs are generated, the person buys those packs and we give them the reward tokens from the actual SME balance that we have at the time. So it's the great thing behind that is there's a limited supply of that. So the more reward packages are purchased, the more power up packages are purchased, the more pressure exists on the token.
What we're actually going to do is we're going to take 33% of the royalties used to buy and burn the floor. And the burns are going to start happening every 3 to 5 days. So as we increase the gamification on the site, it'll just be a natural driver for that. So, it'll be like this huge kind of mechanism with the entire ecosystem as we get these things going.
Mm-hmm. It just takes time, and time is something you guys don't like hearing. I know, because it takes time to do something. You guys look at the word time as delay, but it's not a delay. It just takes time to develop, time to set up.
Like you've been saying all along, Philip, I mean, a lot of the things that we've been doing was actually creating protocols for certain things, or, rolling it out. Or when we kind of blew out the Steam blockchain, we didn't know that was going to happen once we reached 2 million transactions per day on the blockchain and all the issues that we had behind the scenes. So,
even Steam was confused on that one. They even tried to help us on it.
Yeah, I mean, we had the core devs from Steam themselves working on it, and it just wasn't getting fixed. So, sometimes technology throws you for a loop, and you just have to, work your head around the problem and then pivot and, make the right, hopefully what you believe is the right decision or the right pivot to make things better. So that's what we have come up against on the technology side, but I think we're in a really good place, and I think that it's not going to be a lot more time before we can actually get some of these goals where we want to simplify things so that we can then kick off more marketing and kick off more utilities and kick off more features and functionalities on the site. So then it gets really kind of fun at that point.
Crypto asks, what's the marketing plan for users of other languages? Oh, Bijo.
I think that's something we have to for sure do also when it comes to ads. What we do with T-Square, that we basically create those ads also in all other languages. But we also, I think, what we already did is to translate SoMee in general in different languages. But that is definitely something on our plans because we.
I think we had didn't we have, Philip? Didn't you launch an initiative to have people kind of open source come in and start?
Yeah, with the languages, yeah.
How many other languages do we have?
Like 9 right now.
Okay, so we have 9 languages right now, that I'm sure include like Spanish.
Oh yeah, all the
French,
primary
German.
Spanish, French, German.
Yeah.
There's Hungarian in there.
Plus, also the influencers we have a lot of them in different countries, and for sure, an influencer should anyways not post what we tell them to post. They post anyways what they want to post, so they post in their own language. So we will make it anyways accessible for everyone. And then on the site itself, we have it in different languages as an option in the future. So. Yep.
Plus, I do believe on the dev blog too, I've also made it to where it can translate. I think I just did Spanish and English right now, but we can expand that too. The great thing about the translation feature that we added, well, the initiative that I added, is that it allows you to sign up for that service on your own without any approval or whatever. And if there's a language that you want to do, or even a dialect that you want to do within that language, you're able to do that and translate that. And that automatically, once it's approved by us, it automatically goes into our system and can be used on the actual application. Now, that process right now is just getting to point people to translate. I don't have that built directly into the application. We do have it in the application. It's just not enabled because we want to make sure that, everybody is providing the translations. We're going through those translations and that they're accurate. I don't want a situation where somebody goes, "Hey, I'm going to translate this into Italian and the button now means Mickey Mouse." No, we don't want that. So it takes time to review those translations. So right now, SSD is focusing on the core features. After that, we can have them focus on implementing those translation features that we have in there, which you guys can still contribute to. And then we have F1 or F4, sir. Whatever that means, we're going to skip that. And then Simon goes, people keep speaking about resource credits. I have so far been able to see them. Where do you find them? I have a whole reward article. I wrote an entire article on the dev blog, but let me quickly answer this question. When you're on the Hive blockchain, you can go to hiveblocks.com/@yourhiveid. In fact, let me type that in chat. HTTPS hiveblocks.com/@yourhiveid. Replace your Hive ID with your Hive ID. This is a block explorer for the Hive blockchain. It's going to show you your voting power, your current downvote power, your resource credits, how many posts you can do, how many comments you can do, what people have did, how much you're earning, it's everything. So, and I wrote that in the reward article. So if you haven't seen the reward article yet, please check that on the blog.
For Hive monetization, or which article was that?
That's literally the reward. I'll post the link after the chat. I don't have that reward article pulled up, Chris.
I was just looking for it as I could post it, but I didn't know what it was called.
Yeah, let me just go to the blog real quick. Give me a sec. So we do have the community step-by-step instructions for Hive monetization. That's how to set up your account, link it, and use it right now. We do have the Hive keychain fact, which answers several questions about people on Hive keychain. We do have the monetization fact, which is answering questions about what do I need to do about Hive blockchain? How does voting power? What is SME? What is G Fuel? So that's there as well. The blockchain game is going to talk about, how do I play the blockchain game? What is curation rewards? What are dual rewards? How do I cash out? What is the 50-30-20 rule? That's the blockchain game. And then the Hive resource credits. Literally, the article is titled Hive Resource Credits. And it talks about what recess credits are used for, what they're going to be used for in the future, how to view them, what reputation is, what your estimates are, literally everything about resource credits. They're all in the blog there. You can view them there. And then Chandler asked, I'm somewhat new to all this and I'm excited to learn more about it. What is a very general idea of what it will be in the future? Oh, Chris, you're the perfect person to talk about SoMee. This is your baby. You want to talk about what SoMee is and where we're going in the future?
I just think at its core, it's social media redefined for privacy, control, and monetization. So, that's really been our focus, is kind of these three pillars, giving you options for privacy, where we as an operator aren't going to be sharing your private information behind your back or monetizing those data points without your knowledge or consent, and really giving you the tools to do it yourself. So that's where we're headed with that. Like the ad share program, you can work with brands if you want to. You can have ads on your pages if you want to, and share data points if you want to. Monetization, multiple pathways to monetization. Monetizing your content, making it simple for anybody to do it, not just big influencers. And the way the algorithm works allows the little influencers or the average everyday social media user, or from the micro influencer to the major celebrities and influencers on social media, to actually monetize together. And if you follow a big page or something and you're just a average poster, you can go in and connect with that. And the algorithm is basically looking at you. It gives equal opportunity to everybody. So, and also multiple monetization methods on the platform. So we as a company, being kind of blockchain agnostic, want to connect multiple chains like Cardano that's upcoming, or now that we have Hive, or maybe other chains out there like Binance or any other one that people are wanting to be able to have monetization through. We want to connect you and then just give you the options to do that. So that's where it's all going. And then having encrypted chat and things like that to where you can communicate privately and securely, and really having a platform that's fair and where we're not the arbiters of truth, where you can post your information and where the community can kind of self-curate and have this gravity algorithm that's coming that will able to let people have maybe like a piece of content that might have a lot of negative gravity, for example, might be something that a lot of people are thinking is fake or bad news or something, but we don't want to just filter that out or completely delete it or censor the information. If you choose to go and see all the posts that have negative gravity, you should be able to do that. So it's kind of like this 3 pillars of privacy, control, monetization, and taking social media in a different direction where it's been before. And I think that it's a lot better that way, in my opinion.
So Chandler also asked, will we all be implementing metaverse into the SoMee platform?
I mean, let's hope so. I mean, I personally like the thought of having a metaverse or some type of, metaverse connected into the platform. And I think that we really want to go in that direction because we have, these AR and VR technologies and partnerships out there already. And it just makes sense that we have our stake our claim in the metaverse as well, because it's coming, and obviously we want to be able to give people access to those features in the future. So of course.
And last question, because we're just about out of time, will SoMee be implemented into Seek?
I mean, I think that that's a past partnership that we've had that is something very interesting for us. I think it's a possibility. It's just been, something that we haven't focused on for quite some time since, we kicked off Seek. And, obviously, being in VR, being in AR, we have partnerships in place in multiple areas. So that remains to be seen.
All right, great. So just so you guys know, we usually have the AMAs at the very last Saturday of the month at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. This was all voted on the community. It's always the same time. It's usually always the same day. That exception will come next month in December. Since Christmas is on December 25th, we're not going to have it that day. We'll most likely have it on December 30th, but it will be at 10:30 in the morning Pacific time. If you need support, you guys can go ahead and message us in our main support Telegram channel. You can do support.somee.social as well as support.someesocial.com. Take a look at our development blogs at dev.someesocial.com. That's where we put all the articles. That's where I put my articles. Whenever somebody asks me questions, I'm usually going to write something. So that's where it's going to go. If you have business queries or information that you want to have, partnerships, queries, whatever, business@somee.social. Visit our NFT site of itsomee.com. On our main site again is somee.social. Thanks everybody for joining today. Thank you, Chris, for your information, Bijo for yours, and we look forward to seeing everybody next month.
Thanks, Philip. Thanks,
Thank
Bijo.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.